back to the show. It's G. Levitt, your host, the Tech Shark. Today we're talking about how technology can help you scale and multiply your valuation to the marketplace. Today's episode is brought to you by Toolbox OS, the private equity company that exchanges technology for equity to scale you to an exit. And we are ready to get started. It's G. Levitt. I'm excited. Today, valuation, my favorite topic. Exits, my favorite topic. How you can get that multiple up, frankly, my specialty. This is going to be a fun show. One of my best friends, and frankly, my business partner, board member, and I'm in several deals with, has exited over 70 times in the last 2 years. And I've learned a ton about what happens at the negotiating table when you're talking to buyers, when you're talking to investment bankers, those M&A guys who are challenging you on the business and the multiple. And what I've learned from my friend, which I'll bring on the show here shortly, is that when you have a business that's for sale, the multiple that it trades at is connected to one key word, and that becomes our keyword inside of the Rev model. You've seen me do it if you've seen the other episodes about revenue and EBITDA. On the valuation side, looking at technology from 3 dimensions, how can technology scale revenue, EBITDA, and the valuation multiple? The key word is the word proprietary. Proprietary. What we're really talking about, and what M&A people will talk to you about when you're sitting at that negotiating table, is what do you have that's proprietary that this buyer can deem as a competitive advantage, can basically draw a moat around so that the asset that they're buying is highly competitive against whatever's out there in the marketplace, and you're building value against the money that you're ultimately asking for. Because as we've learned from Mr. Wonderful on Shark Tank, what can I do with less money and just go duplicate what you did, right? And with people with large Rolodexes and huge celebrity statuses, it's easy to start new businesses. They can start businesses any day of the week, right? They don't need to give you $10 million for your business, to buy your business, if there's nothing proprietary about it. This becomes the key word in the valuation multiple, and it's worth noting that as you use that proprietary technology, you can increase your multiple by multiples. It's a little bit of a conundrum there, right? You can increase your multiple by multiples. What do we mean by that? The average service-based business will trade for 3 to 5 times revenue, 3 to 5 times EBITDA, and the average software business will trade for 10 to 30 times revenue. So those are sort of the bookends. You have something that's very servicey, very manual, 3 to 5 times EBITDA, something that's very scalable, that's techie, that's 10 to 30 times revenue. With all of that in mind, and with that huge continuum in mind, you move along the continuum towards a tech company, the closer you get to building something that's truly proprietary, that someone cannot pull off the shelf and just go buy from someone else and implement. That's the key phrase. And I deal with a lot of entrepreneurs every day, and they get hung up on this because they can't figure out what proprietary means. Or do I have to build it from scratch, or this or that or the other? Or does it mean intellectual property? Or do I need a patent on it for it to be proprietary? Listen, when we talk about proprietary on this show, all I'm talking about is something that your competitors don't have, that they can't pull off the shelf from another vendor. Something that you're doing that's different than what the other competitors in your space are able to do. Now, of course, they could all pick up their checkbook and write a check to some coders to build more software. But that's what you're gonna do, hopefully, that differentiates you. And you would force their hand and force them to write that check in order for them to try and compete with you with your differentiated and proprietary products. So, let's recap. The key word is proprietary. And we've used Kevin O'Leary as an example to sort of cement the idea this is just something you can't pull off the shelf and duplicate really easily. And we have case studies around my friend who sold 70 companies using this methodology and been at that negotiating table over 70 times. Now, who's the stakeholder? The stakeholder in this conversation and the angle at which you're looking at technology from in this example is the capital market, the buyer, the acquirer, the person who wants to buy your stock. If it's an interim play, it could be viewed as the investor. the investor. It's the capital markets that want to invest or buy your company. It's those people outside that are looking at your business as an asset class. It's those people that you're trying to cater the technology to. You're trying to build something proprietary so that they know that their investment is protected. So if we really summarize, you have the 3 dimensions of the rev model, because from a revenue perspective, you're looking at it from your customer's standpoint and the products you can build. From the EBITDA standpoint, you're looking at it from your staff standpoint and the processes you can automate. And then from the valuation, you're looking at it from the buyer standpoint, the capital market standpoint, and you're figuring out what you can make that's proprietary. Now, here's the punchline and the greatest point of all. When I deal with CEOs, which is on a regular basis, I do about 17 rev models per week on average, and I would invite you somewhere along in this podcast. We're going to do some rev model work together. We're going to talk more about it. We're going to get our hands in the meatloaf and get a little dirty around it for sure. So I'm excited about that in some podcasts to come for sure. But here's the punchline for you. When you come up with the right ideas, they tend to be proprietary, drive automation around process, and help you build products that serve your customers better. That's right. When you come up with the best tech ideas, the best tech ideas leverage all 3 dimensions of the rev model, and they drive proprietary technology that increases revenue and EBITDA, makes your staff happy, makes your customers happy, and positions you with the capital markets to be able to achieve a massive exit. And of course, that's why we're here. This is G Levitt signing out.